Now moving on to the international news. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is deeply concerned over the hundreds of Israeli airstrikes on Syria, saying there is an urgent need to de-escalate violence on all fronts throughout the country, his spokesman said. Meanwhile, United States National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has defended Israel's extensive attacks on Syria, saying Israeli forces are trying to neutralize potential threats. Israel has denied media reports that its troops have taken control of further Syrian territory, saying its soldiers are only operating in the occupied Golan Heights buffer zone to protect Israeli civilians. Jordan will host a crisis summit on Syria over the weekend to be attended by top diplomats from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Turkey, US, European Union, and the UN. The UN envoy for Syria says images emerging from the notorious Sednaya prison and other detention facilities show the unimaginable barbarity suffered by Syrians for years. Palestinian authorities have said that at least 33 Palestinians have killed and wounded more than 50 people in an Israeli strike on the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza as Israel continues to conduct devastating attacks across the Strip. The government media office in Gaza called the Thursday attack a barbaric and heinous massacre, noting that most of those killed hailed from the al-Sheikh Ali family. Medics told the news agency Reuters that Israeli fire struck a postal office in Nusayrat, sheltering displaced Palestinian families as well as nearby houses. Photographs from the scene show young children coated with dust and blood in the rubble of a collapsed building. As of October 2024, the one-year anniversary of the war, Israeli strikes had completely wiped out at least 902 entire families in the Strip, according to the government media office in Gaza. In the time since, Israeli attacks have killed more than 44,800 Palestinians in Gaza, more than half of them women and children. United States President-elect Donald Trump has invited his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping to attend his inauguration ceremony in January, despite his history of hawkish rhetoric and tariff threats. On Thursday, Trump's incoming press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, confirmed reports of the invitation in an appearance on the conservative TV channel Fox News. She framed the invitation as an effort to strengthen ties between the two countries, long seen as rivals. Leavitt told the program Fox and Friends that this is an example of President Trump creating an open dialogue with leaders of countries that are not just U.S. allies but adversaries and competitors too. Experts say that it would be unprecedented for a Chinese leader to attend a U.S. presidential inauguration given the frosty relations that have persisted between the two countries for decades. Now back to the national news. The 16-member visiting delegation of Turkish International Jurist Union met BNP Chairperson's Foreign Affairs Advisory Committee. Held at party chairperson's Gulshan office, the meeting discussed matters of mutual interest of the two countries. After the meeting, BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khusru Mahmood Chaudhry briefed newsmen. During the meeting, they also discussed Bangladesh's judicial system and bringing back home those who fled abroad and then ensure their fair trial. Member of Chairperson's Advisory Council and Chairperson's Foreign Advisory Committee, Tazwirul Islam Party Organizing Secretary Shama Ubaid and International Affairs Secretary Barrister Nasruddin Oshim were present on the occasion. We are at the end of the bulletin. Before ending, the headlines once again. Martyred Intellectuals Day tomorrow. People from all walks of life, including President and Chief Advisor, to pay homage at Mirpur Martyred Intellectuals Memorial. Foreign exchange reserves increase based on remittances and export earnings. Regulations for controlling sound pollution to be finalized this month, says Environment Advisor. United Nations Secretary General calls for an end to all forms of violence in Syria. And the ICC Champions Trophy to depart for South Africa tonight after a 4-day stay in Bangladesh as part of its world tour. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to watch our next Bangla News Bulletin at 11:30. Until then, Good Hafiz.